Hello! Hi! Hi Proton! Hi Shoner! How are you guys doing? Hello, welcome! Welcome to Tuesday. Welcome to Tuesday! Tuesday! So, better? You're doing better? I'm glad. I'm glad you're doing better. But hello, we are in the Twitch recap time. Should we start with that? Since it just dropped. I'm gonna see how that goes. I hope it works. It's still loading. Jesus Christ. Computer, what are you doing? Did we wait a bit? God damn it. What will happen? Okay, fine. Damn. Anyway, how are you doing, guys? How's your day? Did you have a good time? Did you get enough sleep? I am myself like in a weird spot. But things are going well. Did some more artwork today, and I did talk to a bunch of people, and I have some stuff planned. So things are going well, and I'll be announcing some things probably soon. We will see. We will see. Hold on, let me post notification real quick, because I never remember. What the fuck? Sorry, I just clicked on Twitter and I got Gamers Outreach is proud to team up with EA. What? EA awakened to people? Scary. Anyway. Hi Dory! Let me send out this thing. Hi Eve, I was waving my head around and now I have vertigo. Hi, how are you doing? You're just chatting in Discord. That's fine. That's fine. More what? We are introducing a new way for you to schedule ad breaks during your stream. Set up a schedule. This panel allows you to see a timeline to schedule ads that are coming in to run them ahead of time or snooze them back. This is exactly like it was before. What are you talking about? Twitch is drunk, guys. Help me. More ads! The Beers on Mimi is coming to visit me next year. Nice! Nice. No, you're going to be wonky? No, don't say that! Don't say that! We don't want more. But yeah, Twitch is drunk. It's like, oh, did you see? There's a new thing, and you look at it, it's like, this was here forever. What are you talking about? No ads. No ads! Fuck ads! But hey, let me see. Did this fucking thing actually... Guys. I was about to, but... Not this! You didn't see that! Why does it say 2024? It's I clicked on the one that popped up for me. You came back in time? I didn't do anything. Why are you guys telling me I broke it? I didn't do anything. I don't know. I didn't do anything. I just opened the website. Listen. Twitch. The stream manager. I'm here, okay? Listen, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Yes, yes, I'm here. I clicked over here. Notifications, right? My Twitch. Your recap is here. I click on this. Why does it open 24? I don't get it. I didn't do anything. Also, hi Alex. You just joined us, so that you're okay. Hi Ashen. Why? I guess they were like, you're not. It's Twitch recap time, but not for you. Not for you. Fuck you. Oh my god! What the fuck? How? It's broken. It's broken. Why can't I have good things? I'm sending out a notification being very upset. I'm adding Twitch, fuck it. What will Twitch do if I add them? What do I even say? Do I type in like, why am I in the last year? If only they use a different URL, I know, right? I don't have a recap this year? What do you mean? Are you also in 24? Or are you just do you have just nothing? Fuck it, I just added Twitch on Twitter. I know no one's gonna see that, but it's just fun. Jeff Bezos emotes just back in my 25 You say give. Oh well, okay. Oh, I misread that. I thought you said give it to me back, but you did. Yeah, never mind. Doesn't matter. I can't read. But just nothing. Okay, I think you win. You should make a screen cap and add them. I mean, like, why are you denying me my existence? What the fuck? Honestly. Maria, hi! Thank you for the lurk. Oh my god. So, no recap. We're going to play a game. I don't think there's a lot left of the game, so we will try again after I guess. Or maybe in like an hour or something, I don't know, we will see. So, for now. No recap for now, I guess. Jesus. I'm being denied my rights. Oh god. What the fuck? I'm sorry guys, I'm like zooming today. I just had a tea And my sister had kept the tea way too long, so maybe I have had too much coffee. I think my Hollywood channel is borked. I always have 0 followers on my dashboard. Okay, that's new. I didn't see that myself. That never happened to me. Oh god. Where is the freaking game? Can you guys hear the game? There you go. Wait, you're drunk! Twitch is always drunk though. Let's be honest. Welcome back to the world of darkness. Level 55? I thought we were 53. I don't remember anymore. Ah! Sorry, that was my pen rolling. Pushing me rolling. Also, we need to change glitter into devout. Because this is the fucking white mage. I didn't realize that I picked the wrong one. Devout is supposed to be an upgraded white mage, not sage. Sage is like already mage. Which guess makes sense. In a way, I don't know. Nothing makes sense to me. Wait. Ah, shit. Did you see that over the face? That was quick. That was funny. Let me see. Streak preserved. Hi, Dave. Good luck. Congratulations on your streak. Tornado. Why? Devout gets so much more spell slots. Oh, I was so stupid. I should have used it before. Actually, I wonder if Tornado... Tornado! If Tornado will work. Oh god, World of Darkness, I hate this raid. It's a raid, of course. Tornado! It worked! Oh my god, look at this. Did just nothing happen? I didn't see any numbers popping. Tornado. In FF14 this is a raid series because it's mandatory to everyone. I mean everyone gets it. I remember back in my day when you used to get fucking Stormblood raids. Back in my day. I didn't use elixir, whoops. Darkness will prevail and bring an end to the world as you know it. You will now disappear with the rest of the world, mwahaha! Oh my god, two-headed dragon. Bahamut will take care of this. I use reflect instead of protect, I'm stupid. Guys, what the fuck is wrong with me? Oh. Well, that happened. Cool argument, bro. Unfortunately, kick a player. God damn it. What? Why is 200 Dragon so powerful? What the heck? Was it supposed to be this? This bad? Do they want me to go out and freaking... I don't wanna go! I don't wanna go grind. Stop dying! Wait, why are you doing attack? They're way better about these days, but we still get a lot. Dave, why would you do this to me? Why would you curse me with this? You cursed me with the dragon. I was like, yeah, there's not much left, and then I go into a boss fight, and boss fight is like, your level is like, your level is like 300 too low. Fuck it. Kill me. Kill me. Nothing can happen. Oh my god, everything is... Everyone is fucking dead. Can you kill us faster? Yeah, okay, goodbye. Oh my god. Let's try the other one. Is the one on the other side just as bad? Shadow Master. Wait, Twitch rolled back the recap because of wrong data and such? Oh my god. Great. Great, I tell you. Wow. What the fuck is this? Can't make this shit up, I swear to god. This is just so Twitch core. Like, out of everything, does it really surprise you? There's nothing they could have done that would be more on brand. Kill Akage. This is... Alright. Done there. Fucking piece of shit. Piece of shit! Live all your turn. Wait, I told Shrek to boost, but that's not necessary for him. Goodbye. Contain ribbon. Collected treasure from 100% of the chests. Wow. Okay, you know what? Hold on. Mine did not seem too believable. Was it really all that bad? I mean, I cannot tell. Mine was just showing shit from last year. So what did they mean? Okay, Final Fantasy 3 World of Darkness recommended level. What? Level 60 or higher is definitely recommended. Well, they say... What? A single ninja can solo Cloud comfortably around level 45 to 50. What about the fucking dragon? Actually, you moron. Use your shield, stupid. You stupid! Why do you never use your shield? Oh, pfft. Seriously. Oops. Kill them. Murder them. I might have fucked this up. What will... Level 15. Okay, never mind. That doesn't really make a lot much of the version. Guys, I'm losing my mind. Hi, Flash! How are you doing? No, it's just there was someone in there I have not really watched this year. Oh, weird. Oh, pfft. How they made it that way? What happened there? Oh my god! I pressed Q instead of enter. What's wrong with me? Goodbye, ninja. Doesn't 25 recap is back? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna check it again. Let me see if it works before I actually show it on stream. It does work. It's 2025. Hold on. Game, shut the fuck up. Actually, you know what? Fine. Just make it quieter. Let's try again.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Wee! Hi Dale, how are you doing? Hello, we're back to the Twitch recap that just a moment ago was showing me wrong year, but it's fine, we fixed it. I mean, they fixed it. I don't know who fixed it. It's fixed. Never mind, doesn't matter. There we go. Reduced motion? Fuck it. We just unborked it. Viewer, yeah, streamer, yeah, I don't really... Viewer, I don't really care that much about. High scores! 369! Why? How would I do that? 369 maybe? 107 streams, Jesus. 90 days streaming. And 4,214 hours watched. I need to check, like, need to compare it to like the last years later. But yeah, I'm kinda 369. Beautiful. Beautiful. Top categories. Just chatting. Tomb Raider 2. I thought it was a goat game. Final Fantasy 2. System Shock and Peak. You were top 10 in Peak? How'd that happen? Top 10%, I mean? How'd that happen? Literally that... Top stream reached 90 viewers? Was I rated? What stream was it? My top tags. Wow. 31,000 chats received. Jesus. But they didn't tell me. What stream was this? I would like to know some more data, please. Top channel emotes. You know what? I think last year they cannot tell that. God damn it! I think last year we barely had anything here, to be honest. Yeah, this is the emote. I need to update it. I hate it. I don't like how I made this anymore. I need to remake it. Love it. I need to make it. We didn't even have emotes last year. We did have these four for sure. This wasn't there. Biggest fans. Hi Fartbath, hi Proton, AJ, Ivory, and Eve. And Corpse is even here, and Zale, and Chris, and Bilal. Bork and Blob only? No, we had Harriet for sure. Maybe Hake was on here, but... Hake? Hake? Is that how you... Hake? What is wrong with me? Corpses everywhere. Corpses everywhere. Crossovers. Eve, and Sanjiji, and Retro. The race received 34. Who did you? Q and Eve and Sajini, and we sent 54. Hello Eva. Who did you raid? Higa and Sonny and Starlight. I guess, well, 8, 8, and 4. So I guess everyone else was below 4. But I usually try to raid different people unless nobody else is on freaking live. No ads! Hold on, no, guys, we gotta stop. We gotta stop. We're doing it again because the ads have put everyone in hell. And some people in hell. We can look again at my beautiful number of hours because I am very proud of having a very pretty number, and I don't know how this happened, but it's good. It's great. It's 369. So streams, 107 streams, and okay, ad break ended. Kaiser, welcome. Welcome. Sorry for the ads. I'm blind. I didn't notice. I'm stupid. Welcome. Welcome. Yeah, I've been saying. It took me this long to see the owls are opal down on the channel description. You guys wanna know something? I put it there one time when I saw a meme it was like, you know, it was like the middle of the night, and I was like, haha, this is very Polish, this is very funny, and I put it there, and I forgot about it, and I never remember it's there. I never remember it's there. And every once in a while someone comes, like, will mention it, and I'm like, wait, where even is it anymore? I don't know. I forget to update these things. But yeah, I will sell Opal. I don't have Opal. It's sold. Anyway, yeah. Just to, so summary, 369 hours, 107 streams, 90 days streamed, 4,000 blah blah blah. No one should have Opal. Maybe. But hey, the second games, they rule. Tomb Raider 2 and Final Fantasy 2. And System Shock for some reason. How was I top 10% in just chatting? Are there really that many people with lower viewership that I somehow made make it into 10%? I still want to know what the fuck this stream was. Twitch, please tell me. Okay, emotes, my biggest fans, the bottom 90% stream to like one guy. Sad. That's the top 10% of all categories streamed. Is it? Is it? But all of them seem have top 10%, so I don't know. Maybe I mean, if that's the case, then I guess I don't stream all that many games. I don't fucking know. I don't understand anymore. I don't understand. I'm stupid. I'm sorry. Yeah, crossovers and raids, and as I said, I usually try to raid. You didn't really very much. I mean, yeah. Oh well. But yeah, I usually try to raid different people, but a lot of the time there's like only Sonny and Higa are online at the time when I end. Or everyone else has stuff that I do not want to raid because it's like spoilers for me. So I'm like, I don't raid them because I want to play the game myself, so I just try to pick somebody else, but yeah. Wait, that means I only raided half the time. What? Weird. 28 clips made of you? Guys, why so little clips? 30 unique clippers, top featured clip. This isn't even from this year. This is from December 24. Ow. Hold on. That's what it's after the recap, so it's this year. I know, but I don't. Not this end. Yeah, I wish they did the recap in like the last week of December, not in the beginning. That's stupid. I'm scared. I don't wanna die. Boop. I don't even have anything to say. Good. GYWP? 4 boobs. Yes, 4 boobs. I don't know what that means. Good tips on making clips. Yeah, hype happenings. 197 followers. Okay, I think last year we were pretty slow on that. This was, you guys are crazy. All of this was in, well, not all of this, but most of this was in October. I don't know what happened. Oh god. 18 hype trains. And you guys keep spending points on freaking MS Paint drawings. This is mostly what happens. It's not even, well, or Gay Stupid Maze. I think I need to make some new redeems because these are
I see you're trapped in my gay and stupid maze again.
Chat badge unlocked. Wow. Guys, hold on. I have fine, I will show you the other ones, but we will come back to the streamer one because I have the screenshot from last year, so we can somewhat compare if you guys wanna. Is the recap in Polish? No! This is like pointless. I will have to do it twice because no one will fucking understand. I refuse. High scores 380 hours watched. I don't really watch that much, I suppose. Distinct days visited 167. Top categories: Art, co-working, just chatting, Stardew, and Ooblets. These two are from Q. I am 100% sure. You really don't watch? I don't. I mostly draw. Q is my favorite. 356 days watched. Jesus. Yeah, I have Q on a lot because Q always streams when it's dinner time for me. So I open Q in the background and I'm like, yeah, finally I can have some food while I'm watching Q. And yes, Sajidi Mousy is a bit lower this year. Last year I watched a lot, this year not so much. And hey, there's also Stu, there's... You're not there? What the fuck? You're not here. I'm sad. I'm sorry. But I really didn't watch all that much if freaking Vanya is here with 8 hours. Like, good on him. I don't say that he's weird or anything. That's weird that he's here. It's just like, only 8 hours. What the fuck is wrong with me? I stream more than you. Yeah, but you're like... in my defense, you either why are you so mean to me? I'm not mean to you. But in my defense, I usually work when you stream because in the morning I try not to watch streams, or I'm playing with you, so I'm not opening your stream in the background while I'm playing with you. If it's your fault for replying to me when you're live, you should tell me to go to the stream. Just saying. Guys, imagine if it's live and is, you know, doing something on stream, and then will just talk to me while in the middle of the stream, and I would never notice because I'm fucking blind, and I assume that if someone is replying to me that they're not busy. Next 69 chats and top emotes. Who put? Oh my god, they cut him in half. Cut him in half. Listen, guys, I don't even use my own emotes that much. Okay. Artist also here. Yeah, I got attributed to 2. Shark is its tail. Oh no. Clip that. Clips I've made. Yeah, I made a clip of when patient did a backflip in Dim Hospital. That's not Dim Hospital, I think. That's something else. Anyway. In a hospital game that Q played. I Captain! Child badge unlocked. Either way, there's this. This wasn't very interesting. Community. I'm guessing this will be really boring because I don't feel like watching these fucking clips. Where's Iron Mouse? There she is! Okay. Was... Didn't Zen have a different head? Different face on this art piece? Am I crazy? Something was off. Or maybe just a very similar one and I'm confusing something. Anyway. Either way, back to live. Let's compare it to the last years, shall we? Shall we? Quite a milestone this year. Yay! Oh, guys, don't run away. You're not supposed to go anywhere. Stay there. Stay there. I don't even know any of those VTubers. See, I usually watch like all the VODs on YouTube and not on Twitch when they are like going live. So like, I've watched more people on YouTube. Like, I don't have Eve in the freaking what's it called? In the watched, because I watch it on YouTube too. Because like, as I said, I am always too busy. I don't hate you, stop saying that. Because I watch more people than, you know, those 5 that have like, and like with Vanya with 8 hours, but like, I just don't watch them on Twitch. Because people usually stream at an hour that is not working for me. Anyway, I got distracted and I forgot what I was looking for. Hold on. Where is that Twitch recap? Events? No? Guys, where did I put that freaking image? Just typical me being me and like losing everything. The fuck, where is it? Okay, Proton, flex on me. How many hours have you watched this year? Actually, you know what? Everybody flex on me. How many hours have you guys watched? Because I'm like... I'm like on the last spot, I suppose. I don't watch enough. Watched 843 hours, like total? Yes! Total. 800 is a lot. I either keep missing streams or I am just heads down at work. Yeah. I feel. I mod for a few comrades here and there. Makes sense, yeah. 1379! Jesus Christ, you watched more than I streamed. What the fuck? Where did I put this? It's just my, me being me, you know? Putting files in like random folders. I was cleaning up this folder. Not too long ago. What kind of weird spot they put it in? Worst case scenario, I'm gonna just look at that one on Twitter. Because I've uploaded that over there. Oh my god, I don't know what it is, hold on. That's just me. 90% lurking as well. 3,000 hours watched? You guys, oh my god, you guys watch so much. I'm not saying that in a, you know, I'm not like saying that in a negative way. I'm just surprised because I never watch a lot. Heart. Heart. Usually no model lurks, so I usually have Twitch open, but I did every day. Ah, that's fair. How much do you get paid? Higa! Hi! Hi, how do you feel? How is your day? I'm currently digging through my stupid... Oh, there we found it! I found it! I found it on Blue Sky, not on Twitter. What the fuck? I don't know where I have this on my hard drive. It's gone. Disappeared. Thank you so much for the rates. Yay, welcome! You were the first spot for me, for people I rated. I don't really, it was like 8 raids, I think, and I didn't realize I like mostly raided 2 people and then, but what am I saying? Like I thought it was even more, to be honest, but I suppose I like raid people at random, so that's what happened there. Okay, I found the thing. I found the thing. Found the thing. Clip? I was a clippable raiding puzzle solver of the year, whatever the fuck that means. Oops. Jesus. Okay, this is a difference. Actually, pretty big difference. More streams. Many more hours watched. I regret, and I get messing with no art this year. Not enough art. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do more. I mean, I started putting it into the schedule again, so it's that. So top categories. Tomb Raider is in the same spot. Just Chatting is there again, although not in the top 10%. You also had fucking Harvester. Why is Harvester on my top category? What the fuck were we doing last year? More to those streams, more chat messages, more clips and stuff. Okay, I think that the one from last year, it was very similar to what I had 2 years ago. So, you know, considering that, I think this year was much more successful in general. I'm surprised, to be honest. But thank you guys. You wanna keep coming back and watching me. That's so nice to have you. Keep same profile picture. It's iconic. I'm in a box. I thought you'd like that. I thought you'd like that. Oh god. It's good. Why are you complaining? Complaining. I'm not. But yeah. Oh. Nah. Guys. listen. I forgot what I was about to say. But guys, I mean, thank you guys for like wanting to hang out with me, and for joining me for these stupid games, and for like just coming to chat about all of this stuff. And even if you guys spam the polish mode and the paint drawings, that's fine. I mean, if that's my way of repaying you for being nice, then I will do it. And I'm just happy you guys wanna come back here and have fun, and we can chat about real stuff. You can spam polish mode. It has a timer. It's because I tyle było w temacie. I teraz mogę skończyć i nawet nie mogę mówić nic, co się przyda w tym momencie, bo nikt nie zrozumie. I mogę teraz tylko mówić o tym, że było fajnie i że nie wiem, gdzie mam zapisane te pliki na moim dysku, a tak poza tym to 10 na 10 możemy zacząć grać znowu w grę za chwilę, tylko próbuję zobaczyć, czy mam gdzieś te pliki, ponieważ nie wiem, gdzie je zapisałam. O, w sumie ile minęło? Minut? 2 minuty? 2 minuty. 2 minuty. Zróbmy 2. Jedna już minęła. Tak było właśnie. I no cóż, chciałam tylko powiedzieć, że musimy zrobić więcej emotek i w sumie skoro teraz nikt nie rozumie, co mówię, znaczy ktoś na pewno rozumie, ale większość ludzi nie rozumie, co mówię, to mogę powiedzieć, że decydowałam się, że postaram się zrobić nowy model i rzeczy związane ogólnie z całym designem i z grafiką wokół streama! No, strasznie to brzmi po polsku. A wszystkie grafiki, które będą na streamie i wszystkie rzeczy związane z moimi kanałami, w ogóle z brandingiem raczej sama, na pewno będę mieć trochę pomocy, ale rzeczy typu model na pewno będę robić sama. Też mam już nawet maskotkę i mam nawet nazwę dla was, ale nie mogę wam jeszcze powiedzieć. Ale ale istnieją. I postaram się. Córaczki, to brzmi to brzmi bardzo strasznie i nie. Grafiki. O właśnie, skoro w sumie chcecie wiedzieć, jak mówię mówię na swój serwer innym znajomym, że jest surowy. I uważam, że to jest bardzo piękne i szkoda, że nie można tego przetłumaczyć na angielski. Anyway, welcome. I might have shared some secrets, but I won't tell you because you decided to change my language, so you missed out. And did you complete the game? Not yet. I'll be going back to it in a second. But I just wanted to say that hold on, let me catch up on the chat. Your content is enjoyable and comfy. I have a feeling next year you're going to grow remote. Thank you. What the heck? I kind of find out I was introduced to you from a raid. Hey, listen, that's just how it happens sometimes. It's fine. Which is why, listen, which is why I stream a lot of older games, because like people who like those might read me, and then like we make friends, and not only I meet new people who like the same things I do, but also people who like the same things I do meet me, and it just makes sense. That was a terrible fucking sentence. Oh god. I'm glad I found you that weird VTuber streamer site and I followed you here. Yeah, oh my god, yes. Was that last year? Or was it a year and a half ago? I think it was 2 years ago actually, not... No? Because I think I streamed Far Cry over there. So, for some of you who are not familiar, I actually was experimenting a little bit with a website known as VStream. It was supposed to be a streaming service, platform, mostly for VTubers, but sadly that thing wasn't very well advertised, and also just not all that well prepared for what people expected. So in the end, what happened is that it became a little bit of an echo chamber. So it was streamers streaming to other streamers, basically, because no one else would go there. Because if you are watching your favorite VTubers on Twitch or on YouTube, you have you have no business going to another website to be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna make another account and use that, even though it has no quality of life features that I like from the other sites. So it was there. We VTubers would meet other VTubers and we would chat sometimes with each other, but like it was small and didn't really work out that well. So it basically was live for 2-3 months. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, it's dead now. I just a couple of days ago removed myself from a Discord server that was deleted, but for some reason was still showing on my list, and when I clicked on it, it was just empty. So I don't know what happened there. I think Discord broke, but at any rate, I removed myself from that just to clean up my Discord a little bit, and yeah, that thing existed. Not anymore. We are back to Twitch. Even though I was on Twitch all the time, I was just like streaming to 3 places at once. Let me hold on. Did you come? Oh wait, you already read that? Then you. Hi Moon, how are you doing? You stream Far Cry 1 and an older Illustrious game, I think. Oh yeah, Daggerfall. Yeah. Was shit you can say it, we all know it. I remember, like it was small enough that one of the founders actually stopped by my stream, like 2 to 3 times, and I was like, founder of my stream? What the fuck? But yeah, it was just very small. Nobody was on there unless you wanted a stream on there. But yeah, med en ny kamrat out of it named Neosura, so it's not all too bad. Yay! I made a partial. I'm doing good. How are you doing? I'm doing well. As you can hear, I'm a bit hyper. I had too much tea, and we were looking at the Twitch recap, and yes, I started chatting my brain away. Super small and unfunded. Oh god. I'm also still wondering what the fuck have I saved all of these graphics. I'm probably gonna find them like tomorrow when I don't want them anymore. Anyway, let me remove this and let me go back to the game, because we need to finish Final Fantasy III. We are very close to the end. At least I hope so. I mean, it seems like it, except there's a bit pain. There's a little bit of pain over there because the game wants me to be a higher level than I am. Hold on, I'm just gonna share this real quick on Twitter. Twitter. Because I can. Right? Right? Leveled in a JRPG game? I mean, I'm level 55. Did I? Oh my god, I did the wrong thing. Whoops. There we go. Time to go back to the game. Time to go back to the game, shall we? Shall we? Everyone knows the only right way to play a JRPG is to sit in the staring area, find a level 1 goblins until you're level 500. You people are crazy. I would never do that. Just go nuke the boss. I went the wrong way. Oh my god, I went the wrong way. Hydrate. I will, thank you. And stretch. Okay, okay. I'm stretching. Ah. How did I go the wrong way? You're on the level, but that makes the game actually so much challenging. You know what? That is true, yeah. A lot of the time is like, if your level is okay, what the fuck happened to Eve? Then you're just gonna beat the boss way too quickly. Off to a good start. No! Why would you say that? God damn it. Drago, didn't I tell you to use the fucking shield? That's supposed to stop you from getting Cyrus effects? No? Because dude, what the fuck? Can you get just... Can we just... Yes, please. Let's end this fight because it's terrible. No. Was this the right way? Yeah. Where's dragon? What do you want from me? Super speed. We have to be fast. No time to waste. You know, I've recently, as you may have seen, I've started doing some more editing. I mean, well, I mean, I actually started doing it at all because the last edited video I've posted was like, what, 2 years ago or some shit? A very long time ago. Hold on. The Wrath of Dark cannot be stopped. This will be your final resting place. Okay. So I decided, you know what, we need to really go back and do some editing from the before times. Well, the last one I did was not from before times, okay? Last one I did was from September, the late September from this year. And then I figured, you know what, I actually feel like there's some interesting stuff that I have from before. So I am editing currently the playthrough of original System Shock. Yes, not even the remake. I'm doing the original. And you might be asking yourself, but why? And the answer is, I don't know. I just felt like it would be nice to compare how my feelings about the game have changed from when I played the original to when I have played the remake. And same with the second game, the original, and this time the what's the word? The remaster. It's gonna be interesting. Don't think I'm gonna make them like super highly edited. I think I'm just gonna try to do some like quick highlights, and I'll try to compress, not compress, but like fit as many streams into one video as possible, because while it is fun to like look at these older videos, the fact is I really wasn't all that chatty at the time either, and a lot of the time I will just be stuck in one spot, and I'll be very sad, and I'm like, well, not sad, but like very confused. So I figured, you know what, maybe I should actually just do like quick ones so that people don't get too bored. What's wrong with not being chatty? I mean, I feel like there's just not many entertaining clips that like are actually like interesting out of context, and I don't want to, you know, and I mean, there's like 17 hours or something of footage that I need to go through, so I want to try and actually make it somewhat interesting for people to watch. There's definitely some stuff, like me getting jump scared by like an enemy jumping out from behind a corner, but like I was way too different on stream back then, and it's not bad at any rate. I just feel like it might be somewhat confusing to people to find me act like a different person somewhat. And then, you know, I upload these videos to my YouTube, and then they come to stream and be like, who is this? This is not who I was advertised. Also, I realized that I talked about this to a couple of people, but I've been pretty much a very different person on streams in the very beginning. I would either talk very, very, very slowly, or I would just like get stuck trying to explain my thought and just like speak I would say I would say something every like 5 seconds, because I was like, I didn't know what to say, so I would be quiet, and then I'd be like, oh no, I'm quiet, and I would try to, you know, to say something to kind of break the silence. But because I was doing that consciously, it's very obvious that I was doing that. So I'd be like, you know, I'll be quiet, then, you know, a couple of seconds go by and like, oh god, this is weird. And, you know, a couple of seconds go by. So anyway, a couple of seconds go by and, you know, like, I would try to say something just to break the silence, and it would just, I don't know, it'd be awkward, at least to listen for me, because I'm aware I was doing that. But in general, it wasn't that bad, just, you know, kind of how it felt. You've come out of your shell a lot more. I definitely have, yeah. It's been the last couple of months, really, that this happened. That this change has occurred. I have to kind of thank Eve for like bringing me into like collaborations a lot, because that kind of, you know, forced me to somewhat learn how to interact with people live a bit more, because, you know, talking to chat and talking to another person live on voice chat while you are doing something, it's completely different. And I always felt like I'm terrible with small talk, and I just didn't know how to actually make a connection if I didn't know somebody before the stream. So, you know, with people like with Eve, with Dartbex, with whom I've had my first collab, I think that was a year ago, or a year and a half even. With Mona and with like who else? With Sajini. Well, I did know them before I like collabed with them. Well, like some people I've only met during those collabs when, you know, I was invited to them, and it was very difficult for me to actually talk and like not be afraid of people. And I don't know, it gave me I don't know, it's like I never learned this in school, because in school it was like everything was scary, and you always had this feeling like, oh my god, someone's gonna judge me because I'm always just sitting quietly in the corner, and if I try to talk now, it's gonna be very out of character for me, and people would like look at me weird and all that stuff, you know? I always had this in the back of my head, like, oh god, people are gonna act weird about me and all that stuff. And also, the second thing that changed was that I did some vending at conventions this year. I have been at 3 conventions at which I have been selling my own merchandise, been selling my own prints and stickers, and you know, this was the in-person lesson, I suppose, for me. And I actually did get to chat to people a lot, and not only were they talking to me because, you know, they were interested in like the stuff I made, and also, you know, they were just very excited about their own passions and like their own interests. But again, I was also interested in like other artists and such, so I learned how to, like, you know, talk to people and like start conversations. And I think all of that kind of helped me just to somehow I don't know how to say this, evolve, I suppose. To go to the next step and stop just hiding with them in my shell a little bit. And I don't know, I just feel like even now streaming is even more enjoyable than before, and I just like doing this. I'm sorry, I go like I went on a long tangent. Hi Ivory! When in doubt, make gremlin noises IRL and hide behind furniture. Well, I do that all the time. Let me read this. I am one of the four Warriors of Dark. We managed to stop the Wrath of Light 1000 years ago. Light and dark. Our two worlds depend on one another. If the two of you... What? I misread that. If the two were to converge, it would bring about a single world of nothingness, a void. Now the light is weakened, the darkness is spreading. The Wrath of Dark is upon us. The only force that can stop this and return balance is within you. The four Warriors of Light. I am here to aid you. We cannot allow the void to consume our worlds. I think this is the same thing I read yesterday. Warriors of Light. Okay. Need to go back to the dragon, but why is the last dragon so much more difficult to deal with? I don't understand that. Leviathan. So I'll be done with this game today. Have you tried turning the lights back on? Oh, I can't. I have to be in the darkness. I want to share with you some stuff, but I can't. I promised myself I wouldn't. But I have some. I've been cooking in the background, and I really would like to share it already because I am excited, but nothing is ready yet, and I know that if I say the thing, then I will just procrastinate. Something to do with the Lion King. Yes, exactly. It's exactly as you say. It was something with the Lion King. Lion King. I think we can get on a... Ooh. We get one more level before we get to the dragon. Which will be good because the dragon hits very strong. Jesus. It's like a truck. I would like it if it was possible. Oh my god. To use protect on all party members at once. Really nice. That would be pog, we'll say. Tell me, what are you? You have a crystal shield equipped. Prevents petrification, shrinking, and the wheeler from turning into a toad. Wait. You know what? Fuck it. It's not as good, but like I'm kinda tired of you being blinded all the time. Revolution. I don't think it will take me more than an hour. Probably. Probably, unless like the Cloud of Darkness keeps kicking my ass and I'll have to farm. But I will probably only be here, I mean, in the game for like 1 more hour, so what are we going to do afterwards? I need to figure something out. So this is excited on Lion King today? No, it's because of Rafiki. Does he wanna watch Lion King? What's that? You know that by just mentioning the time it'll take to finish, you doomed yourself to that being accurate? I know! I'm sorry. The next Final Fantasy? No! I mean, not that I have something against that. I just feel like... I need a break before I go to the next one. Because, yes. We might play Arena. Do you guys wanna see Arena? That's like completely different. Peggle. We're not playing Peggle. Arena's cool. We can play Arena. I wouldn't mind seeing Arena. Yeah, it's not great, but like I promised to play it, so I can do that. Peggle. I never played Peggle. Okay, which one of you have played Peggle even at least once? Admit it. Tell me right in this instant. Have you played Peggle 2? I guess I cannot now make fun of Peggle because people have actually played it. God damn it. Why is this Grzegorz so terrible? Jesus. Zumbinis. Zumbinis sound like Sajini's farm base if Zoomer part of Sajini's fan base. Please don't hit Shrek again. I need to protect him, but I need to protect everybody, so I need some time. Okay, that's okay. That's fine. That's fine. We can deal with this. We can deal with this. You go boost yourself again. This. I had a lot of fun playing Peglin though. Let's see Peggle with extra steps. Zumbinis. It's a math logic game from the 90s. Oh. Zombie. God damn it. Why is he dead again? I had a lot of fun with Final Fantasy 2. I think this game is also good, but it didn't have that much of an impact on me, somehow. I don't know why. But I do like the fact that this one has so many jobs. But God damn it. I wish you didn't actually have to, you know, you with having to level those classes, those jobs. Shrek is down! Shrek is down! It's all ogre now. No! Hello, Rased! How are you doing? Ah! God damn it. I just... Bro... I just protected this guy. And I'm not going through World of Darkness, I'm doing great. God damn it! Grzegorz, przestań umierać, ty będą. I forgot to use fucking Phoenix. Whatever the fuck. Phoenix down. I forgot the name. Why is your... Why do you hit so hard? She's crying! No! Stupid head dragon. I swear to God, I'm gonna. Let me stay alive. I swear to God. I'm okay. I'm just complaining. Listen, what I need is to use protect on everybody and then just spam healing. That's all I need to do. But he keeps fucking killing them before I manage to cast protect on everybody. Stop murdering them! Two-headed dragon. I'm getting freaking Final Fantasy XIV flashbacks with the raid. Don't cry. You'll be okay. Please don't add glitter. This is the one thing I ask you. Can blame the team for sucking mechanics? I don't blame the team, I'm just saying that it was difficult mentally, okay? Oh, pfft. Rest in pieces, you. Okay, protect Shrek while we at it. Maybe this time Fuck! Oh my god. Why would you do that? Why? I swear to God. Boosted too much and exploded. Kill me. Kill me. Kill me. Thank you. I am an animal. I am animal. Yeah, yeah. Ay, ay, ay. So animals inside the program. Is gremlin an animal? Does that count? There are two cats. Inside me are two cats, the one that wants pets and the one that wants to bite you.
Incoming!
Sanjay! Thank you so much for the raid. How was your stream? My god! What the heck? Hi Philip! Hello! Wrong command. I was supposed to be a slash. Whoops. Wee. Hello, Gumba, thank you so much for the follow and hi. Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? How was your stream? Losing my mind here. If anyone is interested in what's happening to me. God. I'm fighting a dragon. Oh my god. That hits everybody with a random amount between like 1300 health points to 5000 health points. And it sucks ass. And I'm having difficulty. And I died 3 times already. And this isn't even all that special for this fight. Ah, I only used cure on one character. Fuck, what's wrong with me? I didn't mean to only hear Eve. See, this is what happens when you only heal Eve. I know you meant well, but you messed this up really badly. God damn it. Well, you guys can start. I was about to say you guys can start thinking about the name for our arena character, but like, if this is anything to judge, then we will be here forever. To go by, I meant say. What the fuck am I saying? I don't even know anymore. You're all dead again. Kill me. Kill me. Kill me. Thank you. Swear to God. Pain and suffering. Pain and suffering should be the name of this entire arena. Area, I guess. What am I saying? Not reflect. Reflect sucks us. We don't like reflect. Reflect is a terrible, terrible spell. And not in general. I am just really bad at using it. What the fuck? He had no way of surviving that. Jesus. Stop killing everybody! I swear to God. Is it a dragon? This fight in the raid, in the 14 raid is terrible because nobody has any patience and people just yell at each other. Not every time, but this happens. And you know, seeing how difficult it is in this game, I now understand why they made it the way they did. They figured they have to make it painful, like the original. It all makes sense. 'Cause why not? Oh, trying to kill everybody. This, I suppose. I hope. Why? Is it because I actually changed his equipment? Why is he so squishy? Freaking knight at a level 99. I mean, at job level 99. In general, his level is 55, I believe, or 56. I don't remember anymore. Underleveled? I mean, maybe, but like, I beat 3 of the 4 bosses. This is the only one I'm having trouble with. Maybe I should have actually used like guard instead of you can boost. I just don't know whatever the fuck I was doing before. Guys, this game hates me. What is it with this dragon? Look at Shrek. Look how sad he is. Look how dead he is. There is a thing I could technically do to kinda circumvent this issue, but I am not sure. Because I could technically change another party member into a healer too, and you know, have two of them boost everyone else. But like, it doesn't make sense to me. Myriad Minds? Are you only healers? Yes! Hello Myriad Minds, how are you doing? Well... Oh my god, he's alive. Guard. Attack. And you have to heal everybody. And please! Don't let it die! Don't let die? Oh my god! Why? That's just evil. That's just evil. You know, at least I started using guard, I guess. But Jesus Christ. Leviathan. Cure everybody, please. Please don't die. I beg of you. Please don't die. This is, I think, the longest I fought this dragon so far. So, like, oh my god. Jesus fucking Christ. There's progress, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily great. Just kill him, please. Please, I beg of you, just murder the dragon. I know that Shrek won't get experience, but that doesn't matter. I mean, he is higher... He has more experience anyway. Because somehow I fucked it up. Bard? If you want bards anywhere close to the dragon? No, no bard! No bards! That would be scary. Also... sounds... Yeah! Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, the dragon is dead! Hell yeah! And I know, as I said, Shrek died, but listen, even now Shrek has more experience, despite not getting anything in this fight. This is fine. Hell yeah! Kaiser, thank you so much for the bits. We already read that. You haven't failed yet. What are you saying? First try! Woo! Oh my god. Wait, wrong way. Shit. Out of all of this, I forgot to... forgot where I need to go. One of the weapons I'm using is has a poison side effect and I don't know what it is. Is this? No, this one's... Oh! Hellish Claws! Okay, I didn't notice. I just noticed that some enemies were getting poisoned, but it was very, very random, so I didn't understand what was happening. This time. The fuck is this? Dog! Why am I being attacked by a dog? God damn it. So, for the next Final Fantasy, I think I will start it in January because I still have a bunch of things I want to do, and I'd like to finish some games before the end is over. Mostly, I would like to get through the bonus levels for Tomb Raider 1 and 2, just so I can, you know, just not think about it again. And also I have some more collaborations planned, so yeah. But soon we'll... I'm pretty sure this month will like go by really fast, so the next game will be here before I even notice. What the fuck is this? We are the cloud of darkness, bringer of wrath and destroyer of light. You and your world will be sacrificed to the void. Not that you have anything to say about it. Huh. This is the world of darkness. You think your powers of light can defeat us in our own land? The light alone may not be enough, but our powers of darkness can suppress your evil. You would be willing to sacrifice your lives for the light? Fools! We will not let you reduce the world to nothing. Your demise is none of our concern. What are they doing? Why are you jumping into the green fire? The crystals of darkness may be gone, but we have no need of them any longer. He will defeat you and absorb the powers of light. The world will become the void. This is where you die, waters of light. Whoa, the darkness, the background. The darkness. What am I saying? Guard boost, and I'm gonna try what I learned during the dragon fight here. So I'll try to use Grzegorz as a meat shield. And in the meantime, protect everybody. Final boss time! Bahamur. Luna, welcome back! That's not Cloud? Before some bullshit spell that don't say that! Because I believe this could happen. It would really surprise me. Okay, at least I managed to, you know, use a healing spell before the next attack. I thank you, but I don't know. Bahamur! No, you have to protect. Final Fantasy 3 looks like this version seems revamped. Oh, she used the thing before I healed. It does look really nice, but some things don't really match graphically, I feel like. I mean, did I use Reflect? I'm so stupid. I use Reflect instead of Guard. I mean Protect. I'm gonna end myself. Dawn. Is it like an item to remove beneficial oh my god, there is. Use it on yourself. Because I'm stupid and I use the wrong freaking spell. Boost, now you can heal. You know, it will be funny if this fight is easier than the dragon. But also, wouldn't be the first time that happens in the game. I remember having a lot of trouble with the Emperor in the second game. But that might be just my bad memory. Stop with that particle beam! God damn it. You know what? High potion. Fuck it. And I'm gonna cure. Eve is all. Wait, what? Yeah! Big brain. Big brain moves. Protect, and then I can start healing. Does she only have one attack? Leviathan. Everyone is healing. Help each other. What the fuck? Hey! That's evil. I know it's my fault, but Jesus. Wait, did Eve die before? What happened to Eve's beneficial spell? What happened to protect on Eve? What the fuck? What the fuck? Stop it! My goodness, this is chaotic. Do Final Fantasy boss fights always look like this? Or am I different? Why am I always struggling? Older FF games are much more harsher. Pretty sure those games are always known for having ridiculous bosses. Other ones are a little more forgiving. But like, does it always look like this? That you are just trying to keep your party alive and you just like constantly have to raise them? Good job to the soundtrack. Ellie. Stop it! We're fucking dead. Yeah, blah, 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 I don't want to look at this anymore. I've already seen it. So, challenge number 1 is putting protect on everybody. One out of 4. Do it on Shrek first. Because he is the squishiest for some reason. Oh my god. What? Why would you tackle him? Eh? I'm confused. Hydrate. Okay. God damn it. We'll put protecting him first. And then I'm just gonna raise Shrek again! Shrek's taking a nice nap. Stop taking a nap! Why do you only have to sleep? Posture check. Okay, that was just tackle. We can deal with that. Guard boost. You have to protect him, and then you can heal everybody, and then maybe we can actually fight normally. Yeah. Why are her eyes closed? This looks like Shrek's ultimate swamp monster. You are not wrong. Oh, what the fuck? I used wrong. Okay, never mind. Ah! I thought I only used it once. Fuck. Oh god. Legas. Fiona, is that you? Damn. Why do you keep murdering him, your freaking husband? Okay, now attack. Over squirrel. Oh my god. Mana 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 mana. You're doing okay. Not amazing. Okay. So many punches. Yes. Ollie! Ollie Molly! Wow, Glitter actually gets to attack. What a special occasion. Watch her do like a double attack now and murder everybody. Fuck. I didn't mean it! It was a joke! Oh my god, the protect ran out! I didn't know it can run out! Everyone lived. I guess. You have to kill. Kill. Kill and kill. Shrek is the only one with a protect spell. Still intact. Oh my god. Guys, what do you think? Will they die? Maybe I shouldn't have though. Maybe I shouldn't have asked, to be honest. I think that was a bad idea. Oh my god, I only have two powerful healing spells left. Now 1. Stop it! This is fine. When you say it's fine, but it's not really fine. I can't use protect anymore. Because I won't be able to, like, get their health back up. I probably should just keep using the other heal, like, over and over again. Fucking Odin! Guys, does this stupid spell ever work? Because so far, I had shit luck. Okay? Terrible. Absolutely garbage. Chris! Hi! We are fighting the last boss! And it's difficult! But been worse. What? Oh god. Fight are not good. Uh-oh. Is Gregor's fighting with pride and honor? I guess you could say so. Oh no! Get up! It's okay, we still have the full raise. You know what? I'm stupid, actually. And I'll tell you why. And the why is, I should just use fucking elixir and reset the freaking... what's the word? MP, yes. Jesus Christ, my brain just like stopped working for a bit there. Stop it! Use this, you guard, you boost, you actually no boost. You also use elixir on glitter. And glitter has to cure. Question, is there some kind of translation for the word Brzęczykowicz, or is it just something totally made up? I mean, brzęczeć means to ring. But like... that's only the front part. The middle part and the end, it's not really... doesn't really mean anything. Bahamor is back! She's using her items. I have learned. Are you proud? Train? No, not train. Bell. Like, ring. Ringing. Ringing sound. It's a ringing sound. You've come so far. How much more health does she have? Oh my god, and they're all alive! Zero, apparently. Whee! In the beginning, there was the void. Then came light and darkness. From them, everything was born. The heavens, skies, water, fire, life. Time inexorably brings all back to its beginnings. But from life something new was born, a shining force that separated the light from the dark and illuminated the world. It was called hope. When the balance between light and dark is broken and the world again slides towards oblivion, the Chosen will appear once more. Do not forget that the source of the warrior's power is the hope that lives inside us all. Dreams, despair, love, time can obscure it all. Do not accept this, do not forget it, and time will never erase what life has to offer. Find your last remaining spark of light, a light that shines brightly when all else is dark, the light of hope. Whee! You're also here! Glitter, Grzegorz, Shrek, Eve! You did it! Well done! No doubt you're the true heroes of this story. Not how bad! Come on, it's time to go home! Whee! Flying away. There was mountains over there before. What happened to them? It's been a pleasure. Pleasure's all ours, but I think it's about time I return to Amur. We're all bringing them back? Or rather, we're bringing them all back? Alas! You're back safe and sound! Of course, Bailey broke us wet. Without your help, we never would have made it. Thank you. Ha ha ha! If you ever need help, we are heroes will be here. Come and train with us any time until we meet again. We've reached Saronia. I suppose I must return. Final boss form coming up. I was not gonna lie, I actually was considering that might happen, but thank you for everything, Your Highness. Oh, I mean, Your Majesty. It was your light that saved our world. It is I who should be thanking you, brave warriors. If I can lead my kingdom with even half the courage you have shown, I will be content. You have my sincere thanks. Thank you, Lord Fartquad. As for you're trying to translate it, I don't think it's possible. Because that name doesn't like is not like one word. It's like I don't know, ring-a-dilly-ding. We've almost reached Canaan. Guess this is my stop. My wife's probably worried sick. Wait, I'll get off here too. Why do you want to stop in Canaan, Dash? Well, I just wanted to check in on someone. Huh? Oh, fine, it's Selena, okay? Oh, you wanted to see her? How sweet. Oh, come on, leave me alone. Go get her. No, I'm not reading that. What a fun fight of Portuguese. Ooh. Honey! Oh dear. Not in front of your friends. You're embarrassing me. Selena! Dash, please don't ever leave me again. Never, I promise. Come on, honey. We can't let these kids show us up, now can we? Oh, fine. Just one kiss then. Whoops, we gotta look her away. Sorry about that. Let me know if you go on any more adventures. I could always lend a hand. Oh, no, you don't. Looks like you're not going anywhere for a while, Dash. Don't rub it in. I will come back here anytime. Besides, you still gotta try my wife's cooking. Thank you, Sid. Dash. We'll see you later. Kiss duel. Mrs. Sid. Great taste in games. Thank you. Hi. Shall we head back to Sasuna now, Your Highness? Can I stay with you? I don't want to go home just yet. But Princess Sarah, don't you understand? I want to stay with you. There's 4 of us! Oh, did I embarrass you? Come, let's go to Ur. There's 4 of us! What the fuck? She's like, I want my own harem, I don't give a fuck about anything else. It's Ur, your home. Oh, I can't wait to see where you grew up. Welcome back. Oh, Glitter, Gregor, Shrek, Eve, you're home! We did it to Papa, Nina. Well, I always knew you were destined to do great things. We are proud of you. Foliage. Look at how you saved the world. Wow, you're amazing. So I guess they weren't joking about you being the Warriors of Light. Heroes, get a kiss from me. Pack her up. Not so fast. Oops. The world is now safe from the darkness. All this is thanks to your pure hearts. Thank you, Warriors of Light. Why is the wall shaking? Oh. Look, the light. Crystal is back to its former brilliance. It's beautiful. The darkness has dispersed, and a new dawn has come. To the fans across the globe, both past and present, and to the crew who brought the originals to life, we offer our profound and heartfelt thanks. Aww. Whee! Hell yeah! Whee! Another game! Another game, another dollar. This one took me longer than the previous two, but I mean, I guess it makes sense. But still, like it would be. There's, I have two critiques. First one is the grinding is shit. Second critique is some of the writing was so cringe. But like only some of it. It was, generally speaking, it was okay, it was good. But hell yeah. This was cool in sequence, it was, yeah. And then triumphant lap around the world. Yes. Congratulations, thank you. The SNES Final Fantasy are even longer. I'm scared. Because I somewhat, I mean, I kinda do know, but like, oh my god. I'm gonna check the achievements real quick. Because I'm missing 3. 2 of them I know what they are. One of them is secret, and I have no idea what the heck. Oh, okay, I guess I just didn't get that one yet. I have to wait for the... I guess I have to wait for the credits to end. But yeah, as I said earlier, I'll be playing FF4 probably like early or maybe like middle of fuck, there's a ad break. In middle of January, and I got here just in time for the credits. It's okay. I mean, it's not ending yet. At least I will. I'm sorry. God damn it, the ads are bothering everybody. They're evil. But yeah, I'll be playing 4 in like middle of January. Unless something changes. Hold on, let me... Elder Scrolls Arena. Because yeah, I guess this is what we're doing now. Got in time for the schedule. Hi Gottlieb, how you doing? Okay, downloaded. Well, you got here in time for the credits, and yeah. You know what? Since it's ads and since the credits are rolling, I'm gonna run to the bathroom, and then we're gonna play the Elder Scrolls Arena. Hello, I have returned. They has absolutely tried to crush me, but the fact that I haven't but achieved the gorgeous single shell yet is... Jesus. I'm proud of you, I guess. Oof. Congratulations, oh, thank you! Thank you! It is time for me to update the list. The list. Right! Speaking of the list... I still have not, like, completed the migration because I honestly, after I started migrating it to Google Drive, I didn't really touch it much. Like, I worked on it the first 2 days and then I started doing other things. But, oh my god, I actually changed the wrong game. I'm pretty close to being done with this, so soon I'll be able to... What the fuck? To show you guys the thing, I'm trying to select a game, and this shit is selecting Final Fantasy IV and not Final Fantasy III. What's wrong with this? Stop being garbage! There we go. I fixed it. Let me back in the Discord? Yes. Sorry, I didn't notice before. Is Destiny? What is Destiny? Final Fantasy IV? So remember you said it would take only an hour? I mean... I did, but I only said that from like... after an hour. I think. Why is this so broken? So I chatted for an hour before playing? No! They will never find. You know what? That's fair. I would probably do that too. Oh. It is done. The end. Technically speaking, the next game I should be playing is Metal Gear 2. But, I think... That and no, it's not funny! Stop that! We have, as I said, I have Tomb Raider bonus levels to do, so I think I'm gonna do that. Next week I might do a charity stream, so letting you guys know, because as you know, I skipped the June and October ones, so at least I can do that. Save completed game data! Completed! It's a star! Can you believe it that you get the achievement for finishing the game only after getting back to the main menu? It's so crazy. Wow. I can't believe I'm doing this again. Back to the pain and suffering. Wait. Hold on. If you are watching on YouTube, give me a second. I am going to restart the broadcast real quick so I can separate the games. Hold on.